With no research, I'm going to try recreating the volcanic drums from Björk's 5 Years, and sorry for the bad pronunciation.
I dare you to take.
Now, this isn't a video about the gear or methods they used. Instead, it's about using our ears to dissect the sounds and then recreate them ourselves using whatever gear we already have. Along the way, I'll share what worked and what didn't work so that we can both learn from my mistakes. Let's go. If you've seen my previous video about Björk, then you know that I have researched this album, which kind of goes against the premise of this video, but I didn't really dig too much into production details, and I didn't do any more research for this video. That said, here are my initial observations on the drums and how I think I might be able to recreate them. So 1, the sound source is probably an 808 or 909 drum machine. 2, it was then distorted and filtered. And 3, there seems to be 2 layers of drums. The first at 014 is very wide and the EQ of each side sounds different. The second layer is added in at 040 and it's straight down the middle with a slightly different EQ. Now let's see if any of this is correct. Let's get started with the first layer of drums. Now when I say the first layer, I'm talking about the one that appears at 014 and that is wide, but I'm only going to be working on the part at 040 when they're both playing. So first I'm using the stock Ableton 808 kit, and I'm going to transcribe the rhythm into a MIDI clip using just basic snare and kick samples. After this, I focus on getting the distortion because I think that it would be easier to get this rather than trying to guess what the right raw samples are. I use Decapitator because I know that it can get me a variety of distortion type sounds, unlike the stock Ableton distortion plugins. I find some settings that sound close, so I flip through the other samples of this kit. I don't think any of these are close enough, so I try the 909 kit instead. None of these feel right either, so I flip through some of the other stock Ableton kits. I know that I just said that I don't think I can guess which are the right samples just by hearing them raw, but having heard how the 808 and the 909 react to the distortion, I have a bit more context to work with and can make a better guess. The Chromatone kit seems to have some potential, so I switched to that instead. Some of the samples seem to work right away and some seem to need just a little bit of tweaking, so I change my MIDI notes to use the better samples. Then I try stretching some of the samples out, transposing them using different warping modes. I also change a lot of the samples from trigger mode to gate mode so that when the MIDI note turns off, the sample stops instead of ringing until the end of the sample. There's more to be done with tweaking samples, but I'm eager to figure out how to widen this drum track like in the original, so I tackle that next. My guess is that the wideness is a result of different EQs on each side, creating separation between the left and right channels. It sounds like on the left side there's a big cut in the mids, and on the right side there's only the frequency that I have cut from the left side. The quickest way I can think of doing that is by using autofilter. So I set a notch somewhere in the mids. To separate the right and left channels, I group the plugin, duplicate the chain, pan one chain to the left and the other to the right, and in the autofilter on the right side, I change it from notch to bandpass mode. So this works, but I think that the bandpass in autofilter is too narrow, so I want to see if I can do the same thing using just EQs instead of autofilters. So on the left side, I just make a wide cut in the mids, and on the right side, I'm going to isolate the frequency I just cut out using high cut and low cut filters. And finally, I increase the gain on the right side so that the left side doesn't overpower it like it has been. Compared to the autofilter, this sounds much more musical to me, and it allows me more control, so I'm going to stick with this. Now for the second drum layer. So I duplicate the first track that we've been working on, remove the EQ widener, make it mono, and use the same distortion settings to start. Now I transcribe the rhythm for this layer as it appears at 040. There's one bar of the loop that's pretty hard to pick out, so I kind of just do whatever. So to differentiate this layer from the other ones even more, I use a slightly different EQ. I use different high and low cut filters, and I put a boost in a different area than where the other 2 layers are focused. I I could dig into the details a lot more as far as manipulating samples go, but this is good enough for what I wanted to learn, so I'm going to move on and do some final touches. I think all the drum layers could use with some more saturation and some stronger transients, and I can do both of that by using the drum bus. On the first layer, I think it can do even more separation of the two sides by adding just a little EQ notch that is different on each of them. Apart from that, I know that there's some filter automation and maybe some EQ automation too to give it some life, but both of these things are pretty self-evident and self-explanatory, so I won't bother with that in this video. So there you have it. Let me know what sounds I should do next. And if you love Björk and if you love Homogenic, then you should check out this video to see what 3 things you might want to steal from that album.